Okay, good afternoon, everyone. And I just want to say thank you for joining us today on our session, Unleashing Opportunities, Your Path to Success on the TTSC. My name is Nicola Vickles, and I will be representing the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange. Today, I have joining me Mr. Ramesh Makkal from First Citizens Investment Services and Ms. Lisa Samai from Trinidad and Tobago Central Depository. Today, we're going to walk you through the process in terms of what the stock exchange has to offer, what kind of advice you can gain from your broker, and what the TTCD has to offer you as an investor. I will be kicking you off in the presentation, then that will be followed by Mr. Makkal, and then Ms. Samai will follow through. We have our chat open, so feel free to post your questions in there, and we will have a Q&A session at the end. We will make every attempt to answer all the questions. So let's kick it off.
Hi, good morning, everyone. As Nicola indicated, I am Ramesh Makkal. I am one of the wealth managers at First Citizens Investment Services. I'm here to basically walk you through the brokerage side of the business. And let me share, I'm going on to share my screen.
Ramesh, let me start it off from the TTSC, and then probably I can hand over to you.
Okay, no problem, because I should be going first just now. So.
Oh no, I'll be going first.
Yes. Okay, great.
No problem. Okay, so let me start sharing my screen. Okay, so again, I just want to say welcome to the session. So I just want to give a little bit in terms of the TTSC. We are a 40-year-old company. We do have one subsidiary company, that's the Trinidad and Tobago Central Depository. And Ms. Samai will give you a little brief information on the TTCD at the end of the presentation. On the stock exchange, we have currently 33 equities and mutual funds listed. We have 18 bonds listed, and the market size is currently around 118 billion. The maturity dates for the bonds that are listed ranges between 2 months and 15 years. On the exchange, we would have launched our online trading platform in 2020 and our e-statement platform. This basically allows investors to go onto the platform directly and enter their orders so they can trade on their own without having to necessarily go through the broker every time. A little later in the presentation, I'll give you some details on our online trading platform. Another initiative that we have is our SME market and our mentorship program. The mentorship program was launched last year. It's in an effort to assist SME companies to list on the exchange. The mentor is really there to give the company guidance from a regulatory perspective to assist them from transitioning from a private company into a publicly listed company. So what is the role of the stock exchange? We have some three main functions. We perform market functions, we have regulatory functions, and we also have a role in investor education. From the market function, what we do is we allow companies to raise funds from the public in exchange for shares in the company. So what are shares? Basically, shares represents ownership or a unit of ownership within a company. So a company may decide that they would like to come to market and offer their shares to the public in exchange for this cash, and this cash can then be used to fund projects or any type of strategic initiative the company has in an effort to grow the business. The other item would be to facilitate trading. So after the security comes to market or the company comes to market and offer their shares to the public, it's then made available for trading in what we call the secondary market. So we basically offer a centralized marketplace that allows stocks and bonds to trade publicly. It also allows for what is called price discovery because it is very transparent and it's efficient. So all investors have the ability to see what is available for trading and the prices of the securities available. And it allows for price discovery for a fair, where you would see supply and demand. Under our regulatory functions, we are what you call a self-regulatory organization, also referred to as an SRO. What are some of our SRO functions? We basically would develop rules and guidelines, and this is to ensure that there's a fair and transparent market, and it's also geared towards investor protection. The listed companies and the brokers that operate within our market must adhere to these rules and guidelines. The other aspect would be market surveillance. So we monitor all trading activity and we investigate any irregular activity that we may see in the market. And the idea behind this is to maintain a fair and transparent and maintain the integrity of the market. Listing requirements. We also have listing rules that these companies that wish to list on the exchange, they must adhere and meet these criteria. So the companies that are listed on the exchange, I want you to feel comfortable to know that these companies would have met some level of regulatory requirement in order to be listed on the exchange. Another aspect would be our investor education, which is what we're here today doing. We would like to make the public aware and give investors the information that is available out there to empower them to make informed investment decisions. So who are the players in the local market? We have the listed companies, we have the brokerage firms, and we have the investors. Today, we're here to focus on the investors, which are you, and why you should invest in the stock market. People tend to think that, the local stock market is not for the individual investors or the retail persons or the everyday man. I just wanted to present some statistics around that. When we look at the number of investment accounts that we have, 95% of those accounts are actually individual or retail clients. When we look at the trading activity that would have happened for the year thus far, 80% of the trades that occurred came from individual retail investors. So I want to paint the picture for those of you who, might be unaware or just waiting to take that step. I want you to feel encouraged because the local stock market, there is a place for the individuals. And as you can see, the majority of activity in terms of trades comes from the individual investors. So the investment process. This may seem daunting, but I just want to break it down. And Ramesh will go in even further detail to explain it to you for you to see how easy and simple it is. But I just want to cover some key things in any investment decisions. When investing, you must know what is your objective of this investment. You must know the risk involved. It's important to not buy everything in the same sector. It's important to diversify your portfolio. So buying things that are unrelated to each other, that allows you to reduce the level of risk that is involved in your entire investment portfolio. It's important to analyze all the listed companies and ensure that these are in line with your investment goals. And important is to monitor the market because the past performance of a company is not an indicator of future performance. So what companies are available for listing on the stock exchange? We just wanted to present a visual here for some of the companies that you may be familiar with. I'm sure we're familiar with the First Citizens, the Massey, Angostura, TCL, NFM, and these are just to name a few of the companies that are available. So some of us may patronize these businesses. We may have bank accounts with them. We may shop at these companies. And the question is, why just patronize the business and why not be also a shareholder? Why not also benefit from being part owner in these companies? On the bond side, we do have the National Investment Fund Holding Company listed on the exchange. This is one of the corporate bonds that are listed on the exchange. Just wanted to give you an idea in terms of the terms of maturity remaining on these bonds. The NIF 2023 has 2 months to maturity, so that means it's going to be delisted and investors will get back their principal payments. The NIF 2030 has 7 years to maturity, and the NIF 2038 has 15 years to maturity. As you can see, the different coupon rates for these bonds are on the screen. What is a coupon rate? That basically means the rate of return that you're going to get on your investment, and these are paid semi-annually. So every 6 months, you're going to get a return. So we know what's available for investing. Now we need to know who I need to go to invest. So we have 8 registered stockbrokers on the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange with whom you can open an account with to invest. So any one of these 8 companies will be able to provide you with financial advice, give you recommendations in terms of what shares you should buy and sell based on your investment goals. And they can also execute these orders for you. So we have Ramesh here, so he will go through it in a little more detail, as I said later on in the presentation, in that regard. But we know that we do have some of the investors who may say, I would like to trade on my own. To trade online, we have our online trading platform. It's a web-based application. You can simply log on to the website. It's easy to create a profile. All you need to do is to have a valid email address. After you create the profile, you can add your brokerage firm account. And once your broker approves the request to trade online, you are basically ready to go. So I just want to clarify, yes, you need to have a broker account in order to trade online. The difference here is that you do not need to contact your broker every time you wish to place an order on the market. You can do so on your own. All you simply need is to have an electronic device. You can do it on your mobile device. You can do it on your laptops. Once it has internet, you'll be able to access the online trading platform. If you have multiple investment accounts, it allows you to have all the accounts in one centralized location so you can better manage your accounts. The online trading platform also gives you real-time access to the market. So you see live what is available on the market for trading, what are the prices, what volumes are there, and you see opportunities in which you can take advantage of. It also allows you to manage your portfolio. So you can place an order anytime, 24 hours, 7 days a week. You can trade at your convenience. You can monitor the performance of your portfolio, and you can also access your statements to see what shares you own. So what I wanted to do is to give you a brief, view of what the online trading platform looks like and what is the type of information you can get from it. So this is just basically what the market looks like. You would see symbol, which would be a representation of the name of the security or the name of the company that you're investing in. So we would see AGL, that's Agostini, AHL, that's Angostura Holdings Limited. We would see the columns where it says best bid, and you have a quantity, and best bid and a dollar sign. That basically means at the point in time, it shows you that there is someone or a group of persons willing to buy this share at this price. And it tells you the quantity they're willing to buy and at what price. If we were to look at the best ask and best ask quantity columns, that tells you that there is someone out there willing to sell this security, and this is the volume they're willing to sell, and this is the price at which they're willing to sell. When you have a buyer and a seller matching in price is when a trade would occur. The platform also gives you the opening price, the closing price, the movements, the highest price the security would have traded at for the day, and the lowest price the security would have traded at for the day. So it really gives you, a bird's eye view of what is happening in the platform on the trading platform. It also gives you, a little more for us who are a little more detail in terms of the technical behind it. It also offers you, graphical representation of what is happening in the market, what the price movements is looking at, what are the volumes trading, what is the bid and ask from this view, and simply gives you the opportunity to buy or sell. I wanted to give you just a little in-depth in terms of the bids and the offers. So in the previous slide, I would have mentioned what was the best buy order available and what was the best sell order available. What the platform also does is it does not limit you to the best item. It allows you to go a little deeper. It shows you all the orders that are available. So all the buyers who would like to purchase the share and at what price. It shows you all those sellers out there and at what price they're willing to sell the share at. So you as an investor can now look at the opportunities that are available for each security and make an informed decision. One point to note is when placing your order with your broker or even on the platform, it's important to know where your order will be placed or where will it sit on the market depth. So the market depth is, as I showed before, the buy orders and the sell orders. This is what is referred to as the market depth. Based on the price of your order will determine where you sit in the queue, based on your account category and based on the time that you would have entered the order. Of course, the order with the better price will go to the top of the queue. So the buyer with the highest price will sit at the top of the queue, and the seller with the lowest price will sit at the top of the queue. So giving you all that information, and as I would have previously mentioned in making an investment decision, it's important to monitor the market. So the stock exchange not only shows you what is there, but we also give you the information for you to continue to make wise investment decisions. So we do have on our website, we have a news portal. You can subscribe to the news to get the information about the company directly to your email. We have information in terms of dividend payments. We give you weekly bulletins, which is just a snapshot, a one-page view of everything that would have happened in the market. So that brings me to the end of my presentation. Thank you, and I will now hand you over to Ramesh.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone again. Okay, so I'm from First Citizens Investment Services Limited, the Wealth Management Department. I'm one of the wealth managers here. So basically today, the overview of this is to go through brokerage from an individual investor standpoint. And this is who we are as FCIS. We are a registered company with the stock exchange, Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange, and the SEC. Now, for brokerage, goes to our affiliate company, First Citizens Brokerage and Advisory Services Limited. They are registered with the TTSEC as a broker on securities, as well as participant in the Trinidad and Tobago Central Depository. Now, just to tell you what FCBAS has been able to accomplish over the years in terms of public offerings. We have, for the last 18 primary listings, FCBAS has done 16 out of the last 18. Most recently, the Maxi cross-listing on the Jamaican Stock Exchange, as well as the First Citizens additional public offering that was done last year. Not to toot our own horn, but when it comes to IPOs and APOs, we are the go-to broker within the market. And we have done basically all large IPOs, APOs over the course of the last 10 years. So that would be First Citizens, NEF, the NGL. We have all played an active role within those services. Now, getting into it, when you're looking at investing, you have to understand first, savings is not equal to investing. And this is what we try to tell our clients. Savings is money set aside from your current income for future use. Yes, but until we actually take that money and utilize it to make a profit on a growth and value, that is when it's actually considered investing. So,
Ramesh,
yes?
Sorry to interrupt. Are you sharing your screen?
Yes, it is.
No, we're not. We're not seeing. Sorry.
Oh, you're not seeing?
No.
1 second. Because I had it as shared screen before. 1 second. Right, you're seeing it now?
It's coming. Yes. Yes. You just need to go full screen mode.
Yeah. Okay, no problem. I'm just making sure.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, my apologies. On my side, it was actually saying sharing. Okay, so we basically just went over this, but we're talking here in terms of savings versus investing, right? Over the years, persons save and they have been just saving money left over in their accounts, but they have not been actually utilizing those funds for to earn income and to earn profit. And only when your money is actually working for you, then can you consider it as investing. So wealth management and what we do for our clients, individual clients, is basically we start off with the accumulation of wealth. And this is when we take your funds and we start making it work for you. And one of our major aspects is utilizing the local stock exchange, where you're looking for return on your investments. And that is your first step in accumulation of wealth. And then you move to wealth preservation, where through your life goals and your risk appetite, you try to maintain your level of wealth you have accomplished. And eventually, on your passing, you look at wealth transfer, that nest egg that you will pass to your significant others. So as a wealth manager and someone in the investment advising field, we look at walking you through these different stages: accumulation, preservation, and then transfer of wealth. So one of the major things that we look at, why invest? Unexpected changes could affect you. And one of the major things that we look at is inflation. What is $100 is worth today compared to what it will be in 30 years or 30 years ago? Loss of job, your significant other, loss of a spouse, possibly death or divorce. COVID-19 explained and it brought to light the unexpected and declining health issues and how that affected families over the course of the last 3 years. Extended life expectancy, all these things, retirement, all these things are reasons why individuals have to look at investing more as opposed to just savings. Right? So what should we look at? Liquidity when investing. How quickly can you convert investments into cash? Emergency funds. Everyone should have an emergency fund, and it should be anywhere depending on where you are in your life. Whether you are married, single, kids, not without kids, you must have an emergency fund, and that should be anywhere from 6 months to 1 year's expenses to be able to cover 1 year expenses. You look at safety, you look at income, and you look at growth. Now, when you're looking at investing in stock exchange, what you're mainly looking for here is income and growth. And I'll explain. And I explain why, especially when it comes to inflation. Everyone is accustomed now when you face the grocery, what the increase in prices and the purchasing power over time. And inflation is one of the major reasons for investing in the stock exchange, the decline of your purchasing power and the baskets of goods. And over the years, the inflation value is about 7.2% over the last 30 years. So let's look at it this way. $100 worth in 1970 is now worth $3.25 in 2020. So what that tells you is that you have to have investments that could outstrip or be ahead of the inflation curve. And this will allow you, one of the only steps that you could achieve this is through having and investing in the local equity market. So the benefits of actually opening a brokerage account. You're looking at diversifying. It was mentioned before by Nicola. Of course, the diversifying of your portfolio in different sectors. You get the ability to invest in banking, manufacturing. You can look at different aspects, and you can diversify your portfolio over these, but while receiving the dividend benefits. So not only are you investing, but you're getting on a yearly basis or semi-annual basis, you get cash dividend paid to you on your investments. But to be able to hedge against inflation, what you get the benefit of with your opening your brokerage accounts and investing in the local stock exchanges, the appreciation and trading gains. I will use First Citizens as an example. First Citizens was launched with the IPO at $22. First Citizens is now trading over $46. And what that tells you is over from 2013 to now is double in value over the period of time in just 12 years, 10 years. And you continue to see the appreciation and gains. Why is that important? With a decreasing value of your savings and your investments in terms of dollar value, appreciation in terms of the value of your shares also allows you to hedge against this. And this, coupled with the benefit of dividends, is one of the major attractions to investing in the stock exchange and investing in shares. So how do you do it? How do you do it? One of the first things you have to do is assessing your risk and your risk tolerance. Depending on your age, everyone has different risk tolerance. And it tells you how much risk you're willing to take. And by doing that, understanding that first, you'll know how much of your portfolio, your overall portfolio, should be invested in the local stock exchange or in stocks on the whole. By diversifying, you can now diversify your portfolio over a course of different products or different shares. It allows you to not feel the shocks of movements. Possibly, if the manufacturing sector is down, you may be having a bump in your financial sector. This is what allows you, what enables by diversification and asset allocation. But think long term in your strategy. And one of the major things is controlling your emotions. I could tell you I have looked at certain stocks I've invested, but I decided to stay the course. You see the movements in share price, but you control the emotions. You know the share price that you want to get out or get in at. And one of the other strategies that we consider is dollar cost averaging in terms of purchasing. So we'll go into all these things now in greater detail. And what affects share price is basically demand and supply. So Nicola showed by her slides when you saw the depth on the stock exchange in terms of where the prices settle in terms of demand and supply. And so what we look at is when you get it in, know the price that you want to get in at. And the share price is determined by that balance between the supply end and the price end. So what determination in terms of price? Everything now is information, and information flow into the market and it's to you as an investor. Now, this is important because you have to understand what can actually affect share prices. It can be everything from the results of the company, inflation rates, all these things, information that you get readily available to you now. But it's to understand now how that actually affects share price and trends. So understanding that, the tools that you should look at and resources, right? Every brokerage house will provide you with information. That's the first thing that you should look at. You've chosen a brokerage house, see what information they do provide. They provide directly to you via email, or they will publish on their website or in the daily newspapers. And what you're looking for from them: company valuations, performance on outlook of the companies that assist you in terms of how you choose stock. They will give you an idea of the fair market value of the share. So you will know if a share is trading under or overvalued, right? These are things that you're going to have to look at. The dividend yield, right? What is the dividends actually being paid by the company? So from a brokerage standpoint, a brokerage house standpoint, when you're assessing which broker you're looking at, these are the added benefits that the brokers provide to you. And by being able to do the analysis for you and provide you with us, it takes a lot of the burden off of you as an investor. So that's just what you're looking at. In addition to that, other resources, fundamental analysis to determine the intrinsic value of the security, a top-down approach, individual company analysis. Now, as I mentioned before, a lot of brokers actually do all of this for you and take this burden off for you as an investor. Because for one, you may not have the time or even the expertise to sit down and analyze properly. And it's fundamentally one of the things that distinguish brokers, because what is the service being added to you? So the strategies that we look at right now in terms of broking is determining your entry price and exit price and dollar cost averaging into the purchase. So the entry price or exit, establish your purchase price or range. Usually we tell clients buy low or buy on a trend. If it's trending upwards, you buy at the lowest end and you're looking at the trend. So I'm going to try to get in at the lowest possible price. But when do I want to sell? Of course, I want to sell making profit, right? The objective here is to make as much money as possible. So you sell high. One of the major things is to implement this plan without emotion. And the reason why you say this is that you know that, okay, I've set my goal, I want to get out. If this price is, I top off at 25%, let's not be greedy. I set my goal at 25%, right? Unless I'm seeing it trending significantly upwards on my review, stay the course, hold your emotions and sell at that stage. Or on the flip side, if a share price is dropping and you're comfortable holding that share, you should be able to say, okay, I could ride this wave and stay with it. So holding your emotions and staying the course into your investment plan is very important. Dollar cost averaging is basically, if you have a goal of purchasing a certain quantity of shares, and I'll use this example here, you have $6,000 to invest. $6,000 will provide you with a certain quantity of shares, of 600 shares in total if you invest today. But we suggest the clients you invest over a period of time. Let's say, example, 6 months. The idea is that you buy periodically over the 6-month period on 6 separate occasions on a monthly basis. And you will invest, let's say, $1,000. Over the period of time, you will either be able to purchase more shares or less shares, depending on the price. But with that, you're able to average out your overall share price. So let's say you're able to invest 600 shares on day one, but at the end of it, as you're able to dollar cost average out, you'll probably come out, and you will come out with a higher volume of shares over the long run, or at a lower average cost. And it's one of the tools that a lot of persons utilize while investing in the local market. And we suggest the clients should surely invest over a period of time, dollar cost average in. And another way of doing it is, if you set a goal that every month that you want to invest a certain dollar value into the stock exchange, into the stock market, you can't do this, and you decide on a pool of shares that you want to purchase. With that, you get the same sort of effect buying over a period of time and averaging down your cost of purchasing. Tips on investing. First, conduct research, whether it be through your broker or your individual research that you have on companies. Look at companies you're familiar with. It's the first thing that we tell clients. Something that you're accustomed with First Citizens, you're accustomed with Republic Bank, you're accustomed with Massey. You know, go with what you choose, who the companies you're familiar with. Take some risk. Higher risk may result in higher returns. Determine your entry price when purchasing. Have an idea what price you want to get into, and stick with your exit price that you determine. You may hold for a considerable period of time, yes, but if you want to play the market and actually buy and sell on the market, stick to exit price. Use the dollar cost averaging technique, of course, in terms of how you invest. And the best time to start investing, of course, is today, because I can tell you that when you look at retirement, you look at the cost of living, it's consistently increasing with inflation, eroding your dollar value. Years ago, we have told clients that as you retire, you look more at fixed income. But the thought process has changed over the years that you must maintain at least 30% of your portfolio now in local equity and in equity to be able to get that appreciation in value. It has become paramount now with an inflation at rate of 7.2% overall, 30 years trending. It tells you that to be able to maintain your lifestyle, you must have that capital appreciation per aspect of your investments for it to continue to grow and for you to outstrip and to be ahead of the inflation curve. And you want to maintain the same sort of lifestyle you've had before, and utilizing the local stock market is one of the major aspects and the tools that you can utilize in doing that. Okay. And thank you for the time, for being able to present to you, and I'll pass you over at this stage.
Good afternoon, everyone. So let me just... Right. You see my screen, right? So thank you, Ramesh, for that presentation. I'm sure it's many of us here would agree that it's very helpful. I'm here. My name is Lisa Marie Samai. I'm the corporate action head at the Trinidad and Tobago Central Depository. And I'll just be speaking to you briefly on our initiatives and projects that we have on this central depository right now. So as Nicola would have mentioned earlier, the TTCD is a wholly owned subsidiary of the stock exchange and was established mainly for the safekeeping of securities and settlement of transactions. The TTCD is made up of 2 departments. We have the operations department, who handles the settlement of trades. So any trades that happen on the exchange, the operations department is responsible for those settlements. For equities, there's a settlement period of T+3, and for our bonds, we have T+2. On the other side, we have the registrar department, and this department is solely responsible for corporate actions. Those corporate actions include transactions such as stock splits, dividend payments, which I know you all were hearing about previously, as well as rights issues, bonus issues, etc. So as Nicola and Ramesh would have mentioned earlier, in order to start trading on the exchange, you must establish an account with any one of our stockbrokers. It's a very easy, simple process. There are some documents that will be asked of you, but once you provide those documents, it's a very quick process to open the brokerage account. Once you have established that brokerage account, you are now able to trade any security that is listed on our exchange. And to the left of my screen, you would see a list of the brokers that we currently liaise with. There are 8 of them. So you can contact any one of them to start investing and opening that brokerage account. So one of the big projects that we have going on at the TTCD right now is the dematerialization of share certificates. And this project wouldn't be aimed so much for the new investors, because for new investors, in order to trade, you need a brokerage account. This initiative is more geared towards our long-standing shareholders who purchased shares many centuries ago, where a share certificate was issued on that purchase. Basically, this initiative is so that these persons can lodge their shares into a broker account, which would now enable them to trade. Currently, you cannot trade if you own a physical share certificate. Another initiative we have is direct dividend deposits. As Ramesh and Nicola would have mentioned, as an investor, you are entitled to dividend payments that are declared by a listed company. So the TTCD is responsible for making sure that you receive those dividend payments in a timely manner. And one of the ways that we try to do this is by asking you to set up a bank account on your brokerage account so that you can receive the dividend payments directly into your bank account. There's no need for a check to be issued to you and mailed to your address. The benefits of having this bank mandate is, of course, timely deposits to your bank account. So you will be receiving the dividend payment on the payment date of the dividend straight into your bank account. This, of course, it helps with if you have more investments that you'd like to make, if there are personal issues that you need to deal with in a timely manner. If you opt to get the payment via check, of course, there are time delays where you have to wait till the check reaches to you in the mail. Then you have to go to the bank, you have to cash this check. And then in some banks, you may even have a clearing period that you have to wait to access your funds. So again, if of you who may already have a brokerage account and you are receiving dividends by check, you could reach out to us at any time for us to set up that mandate so that you can have ready access to your funds. Right, and now we have our e-statement platform. So the e-statement platform was recently launched, and it basically allows investors to have information on their investments in an instant. So once you create a profile on our platform, you now have access to any statements on your account. You can monitor your transactions, monitor trades, as well as monitor your dividend payments, because there is a dividend notice section that you receive dividend notices once it hits your bank account. So in order to sign up, you could visit our website, click the link, and it's very easy. You just need a valid email address and fill out the information that follows. Just to reiterate the benefits of the e-statement platform, you have access to all online statements, any points in time, 24/7 access. You can monitor multiple brokerage accounts on it. So if you choose to have more than one brokerage account with the various brokers, you can add all those accounts into that platform. And therefore you could monitor all in one safe, convenient location. There's constant availability, 24/7 access. You do not need to wait until 8 o'clock or between the hours of 8 to 4 to call an officer to request a statement. And of course, we have our security measures in place to eliminate any unwanted persons seeing your information. And of course, this is all free to you, which is I guess the most the better advantage. And okay, so that takes us to the end of the presentation. Here you could see the our contact information for both the stock exchange and the central depository. Feel free to reach out to us anytime. It does take us to the end of the presentation, but we will now be opening up for questions.
Right. Good afternoon, everyone. I will read out the questions and the panelists will feel free to answer accordingly. The first question is, how do I register as an individual investor?
Okay, I could take that. As an individual investor, to open a brokerage account is actually very simple. You choose a brokerage house that you would like to open your account with. You will require 2 forms of ID, identification, a proof of address, as well as proof of income. And as well as your brokerage house may ask you for proof of your bank account number. And this is just like from a statement. And the rationale of it is dividends are transferred directly to that account, and they ask for the number just to have it to be able to verify.
What are the different types of market indices and what are they used for?
Okay, I could take that one. So we have market indices and we have sector indices. Currently, we have the composite index, the all TNT index, and the cross-listed index. The index basically provides a bird's-eye view in terms of how the securities within this category has been performing. So you literally get to see a basket of securities or a basket of goods that fall into this category, and from an overall perspective, how they have been performing.
Is there a minimum amount to trade online?
Ramesh, you want to take that one, or you want me to?
We basically have no minimums attached to trades. It's just a minimum dollar value in terms of the fee income.
Yeah, and there's no minimum in terms of what you have to trade via the online trading platform. The investor has to liaise with their broker in terms of if they have a restriction.
I think this one is for Ramesh as well. What is our current inflation rate and where can I monitor this?
Okay, the inflation rate is about 4% right now on the central bank website. They publish it on a monthly basis.
With respect to liquidity, how easy is it to obtain your money if you decide that you are no longer interested in investing or owning shares?
Okay, I could take this one. With regards to liquidity, it's all a matter, remember the graph for price and supply. So as long as you are setting the share price at a point where there is demand for it, it will sell automatically within the day, and settlement is 3 working days after that, which is actually now being reviewed right now.
With respect to opening a brokerage account, how long does the process take to get the account open? And before investing in stocks, do the brokerage companies such as FCB have the account to assist us in helping which company is best to invest in?
Okay, I will take that one. To open the account is actually very simple. What we have been doing is actually making the information available by a portal where you could upload your proof of address, proof of income, all the requirements online to the website. With that, we'll prepare all your documents in advance, and we'll set an appointment for you to come in just to execute the documents. Upon having your account number, which will be same day before you leave, you will leave with your account number. We will walk you through possible share options, and then we will also send you on a weekly basis our market watch, where it gives you trading suggestions. We give you an idea, snapshots of the market, dividend yield, PE ratios, upcoming dividend payouts, all these things that are useful for an investor, or especially a first-time investor.
Are there any tax benefits for investing on the TTSC?
I can tell you currently right now, the dividends that are paid to you are not taxed. There's no withholding tax on it. So from what you invest, what you get back is from your returns. It's totally to you. There's no tax implication as an individual investor.
Ramesh, I'm not sure if this was mentioned before. Is there a minimum investment amount to open a brokerage account with FCB?
No, there's no minimum. So basically, you open the account and you begin to trade. And we don't have a restriction on the quantity that clients may purchase. And we laugh and say during our First Citizens IPO, I remember elderly person coming to purchase one share. And so we have no restrictions at all. We are fully available to the public for purchasing.
Can you kindly explain what T+3 and T+2 means?
No. So T+3 is the trade date, and the settlement date is the 2 days after that, or 3 days. We are moving for T+3 to T+2. So after you sell your share on today, it will be settled 2 working days after that to your account.
This question is for the TTSC. Would it be wise to have multiple brokerage accounts?
So we advise investors to open brokerage accounts with member firms that meet their requirements. There is no limit in terms of how many brokerage accounts you can have with different brokers. So if you already have one, but with one broker and you wish to open an account with another broker, there's no restriction on that.
Are dividends taxed?
So I think Ramesh answered this already.
This
Dividends are not taxed for individual investors.
In terms of 3 working days settlement time, you said that this would be reviewed. Would there be a shorter processing period when this has been reviewed?
So currently the stock exchange is looking at this in terms of reducing the settlement period from T+3 to T+2. When this comes into effect, the market would be notified, and you would see information on our social media platforms.
If someone has a brokerage account many years ago and need information on their current account number, how do they go about doing this?
Okay, so you basically just contact your brokerage house, and they will verify your identity, and they will be able to give you your information, and they will update the account. Because especially if it's been open a while ago, there have been a lot of amendments and new requirements in terms of the documentation. They will ask for updates, so they will do a full update to the account.
For persons who cannot remember the firm that they opened the account with, you can feel free to contact the TTCD, and they would assist you with that as well.
After purchasing a share, how long does it take to be recorded on the stock exchange records?
So as we mentioned before, when trading happens, it takes T+3 days currently for equities and mutual funds, and T+2 for bonds, for it to be reflected on what is called the register. So that is basically the listing of all the shareholders.
This question is for Lisa. How do I get my dividends deposited in my bank account instead of receiving in the mail? Can you kindly go over this?
Yes, well, there is a form that you can fill out for us to send it directly to your bank account, you could contact either your brokers or us at the TTCD, and we will arrange that for you.
One thing I could add, though, most accounts it's possibly that the shares are still in certificate form. That is why they are receiving a check as opposed to electronic transfer. So they may also look at making sure that those shares are lodged, the certificates are lodged, so it will be automatically, the dividends will be sent to you automatically.
All right. Ramesh, this question is for you. The fees being attached to trading, would it be monthly or per transaction?
Okay, it's a transaction based. It is usually 1.25% from the brokerage side, and the TTSC side and stock TTCD adds up to 0.21%.
And also, is
So-
there a limit on the purchase amount for buying shares through your broker?
No, there's no limit in terms of purchasing. As I mentioned before, persons have bought as low as one stock.
Yeah, so just to clarify that in terms of fees, I just want to clarify there is no monthly maintenance fee. There's no maintenance fee for having a TTCD account. The only time a fee is involved is if you enter into a transaction. So if you buy shares or you sell shares, there'd be a fee attached to that. And the fee is based on the value of the shares that you would have purchased at the point in time. In relation to the last question that you asked, Natasha, you can just repeat it again for me. Hello, Natasha.
1 second, Nicola. Just
Sorry.
pulling it back. Hold on. Is there a limit on the purchase amount for buying shares through your broker?
Right, sorry. So in relation to First Citizens Bank, as Ramesh said, there's no limit or there's no minimum. But what we ask is that you contact your broker or the person you wish to open a brokerage account with, the firm, because they may have a minimum in terms of value of the initial investment upfront.
Is there any tax implications for a foreign investor? If opening an account, will all the data be provided on each bond, etc.?
Now, basically, from a tax perspective, we do not give tax advice. That is a general rule. You have to know in terms of your jurisdiction, if you purchase assets and you're receiving income from a next jurisdiction, your tax accountant will give you advice on that. With regards to opening the account, you can, as a foreign-based resident or a foreigner, it is possible. What we require is the same documentation. If you are on island, it can be done in person. If not, we will actually go through the process with you to have it and make sure it's notarized through a notary public in your various locations.
Do share certificates on your brokerage account have a beneficiary plan in place in the event of a death?
No, so unfortunately, shares do not have beneficiaries. You can add a joint holder. In the event of death, the shares actually go to an estate or goes to estate if there is no joint holder on the account. So which means you just have to go through the probate process in order to access the shares. If you do plan to put a joint holder, one of the persons died, the shares will go to the surviving holder. However, just bear in mind that certain transactions you would need both parties to sign off or if there is a joint holder on the account.
Can you kindly explain how long after investing do you receive dividends and how are the dividends usually calculated?
Right, so the dividend information comes directly from the listed company that you have invested in. So you can, on our website, there's a list of events that we have from patterns or previous dividend payments declared, right? Some companies, they have a pattern. Some of them, they pay, it is based on their financials. So what we tend to advise is that you go, when you're investing, you look at the history of those dividend payments to see the kind of payouts that come out. Just to explain further, it is based on the listed company. So they will declare payment dates, they will declare dividend rates. We just act as the agents to getting that funds to you.
And that is it for the questions. The other questions will be answered throughout the chat. Thank you everyone for listening to this webinar. A copy of this webinar will be presented on our YouTube channel, Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange. We thank you again.
Thank you.